Today, we're going to try to deconstruct one of the most terrifying characters ever put to paper. I'm talking about Nikolai Stavrogin, from Fyodor Dostoevsky's masterpiece, Demons. He's this figure of incredible charisma and an even greater horror. He's a puzzle, really. A puzzle that we're going to try and piece together bit by bit. So let's get started on this beautiful, terrifying puzzle.
You know, this quote from the book just captures his role so perfectly. Stavrogin isn't just another character in the novel. He's the center of gravity. He is a force so massive that anyone who gets too close is either completely consumed by his influence or just incinerated by it. He really is the beautiful, deadly star of this very dark universe.
And that's the big question, isn't it? He's not some simple villain. He's a paradox, a walking contradiction. A man who is somehow both godlike and utterly, completely empty. To really understand him, we have to unmask him layer by horrifying layer.
Okay, so the first layer, it's the most obvious one. This shocking contrast between how he looks and what he actually does. It's that classic beautiful monster idea, but Dostoevsky, well, he takes it to an absolute extreme. I mean, the disconnect here is just staggering. On the left, you've got a physical god. The book describes him as having the face of an antique marble statue. Perfect, cold, almost sublime. People literally fall at his feet. But then, you look to the right. Look at that trail of devastation. Suicides, revolutions, murders. It's a path of total human wreckage. He's a masterpiece of creation who only seems to engage in destruction.
So let's peel back that beautiful outside and take a look at his mind. Because this isn't your average brute. Stavrogin has this superhuman intellect, a mind so powerful that it basically exhausted all of reality, found nothing left to chew on, and then it started to turn inward and just devour itself.
And he didn't just think about these ideas. He fully inhabited them. He tried on every major ideology of the 19th century like it was a coat. Faith, godlessness, political revolution, pure self-indulgence. He tasted them all. And his conclusion? They were all equally bland, equally meaningless. Nothing held his interest. Nothing ever stuck.
And when a mind that powerful gets that bored, what does it do? Well, it looks for some kind of sensation in just pure transgression. This wasn't a political act. It was an experiment. He publicly bites a governor's ear just to see if he can still be shocked by his own actions, to see if he can feel anything at all. And the answer is a chilling no.
We've gone past the body, past the mind, and now we get to the absolute core of his being, his emotional state. And what do we find there? Nothing. An absolute vacuum, what the source material calls emotional absolute zero.
This description is just so powerful, isn't it? It's not just that he's unemotional. There's a quality of death in his gaze. There's no life, no warmth, no spark of human connection behind those perfect features. Just a cold, dead stillness.
Let's just watch this coldness in action. It's a truly horrifying little case study. First, completely out of nowhere, he marries this crippled, half-mad woman named Maria. And his reason for doing it? Not love, not pity, not even some calculated cruelty. Nope. He does it simply out of caprice, a whim, an idle thought that he acts on with the same indifference you or I might show in deciding what to eat for lunch. And later, when his political followers decide she's in the way, they arrange for her to be murdered in a fire they set. And Stavrogin, he knows it's happening.
He just watches it happen without so much as blinking. There's no horror, no grief, no guilt, just observation, a complete disconnect from human feeling. You know, he's not even a monster in the way we usually think of them, because monsters usually enjoy their evil. Stavrogin doesn't even have that.
And that brings us to the psychological center of all of this. What do you even call this state of being? Well, the book gives it a name, the soul's black hole. And this is all about a man who wasn't born empty, but who chose to be. This definition right here is key. The Karamazov breadth. That's this idea of the Russian soul's capacity for both the highest good and the lowest evil. Stavrogin has that infinite potential. But what makes him so terrifying is that every single restraining force has been stripped away. Faith, love, fear of consequences, even basic self-interest. They're all gone. All that's left is pure, directionless potential. A void.
And this, right here, this is Dostoevsky's most terrifying insight. See, the true horror of Stavrogin isn't that he's evil. It's that he could have been anything. Apparently, Dostoevsky first planned him to be a Christ-like figure. He had the charisma, the intellect, the potential for ultimate good. But he chose nothingness instead. He chose to be a void. So, why does this character from the 19th century still feel so chillingly relevant? Well, because his archetype, this beautiful void, it didn't die with him. It continues to haunt our modern world in some very recognizable forms.
I mean, just think about it. The charismatic leader who inspires this fanatical devotion but has no core beliefs of his own. The social media influencer who projects a perfect life but is really just a vacuum at the center. Or maybe on a more personal level, that destructive lover who draws you in but who ends up destroying you simply because there's no one actually there. Maybe we're drawn to these voids because they're like perfect mirrors. We project all our own hopes and meanings onto their beautiful emptiness only to watch it all collapse. And that's really the final, terrifying takeaway. He isn't just some gothic literary villain. He is, as the source puts it, the beautiful monster we have all met in miniature. We've all known someone with a little piece of that void inside them, that person with immense potential who does nothing, who feels nothing, and who just leaves a little bit of wreckage wherever they go.
In the end, Stavrogin hangs himself with a neat, almost indifferent knot. His final note isn't an apology. It's not a confession of guilt. It's a simple, cold, clinical diagnosis of his own condition. I am very sick. He knew about his own emptiness, and he was simply tired of it.
But his death, it isn't the end of the destruction. The void he creates is fertile ground. Every single destructive ideology in the entire novel grows out of the vacuum that he radiates. Which leaves us with one final, haunting question. Stavrogin himself might be gone, but what happens when the void a person like that leaves behind keeps breeding demons long after they're gone?